It must feel like ghosts and fragments are all that is left of this family. But such is the way when you're a defector from North Korea.
So this is your sister, and how old is she in this picture?
Kim Kyu-li escaped in the 1990s and eventually made it to London. At the time, she did not take her younger sister, Kim Cheol-ok, with her, a decision that still haunts her.
From beginning, I have to take her. Even if we die together.
At just 14, Cheol-ok did make it as far as China, but traffickers then sold her to a husband 3 times her age. For 25 years, she called China her home. She had a daughter, but no ID and no rights. A dangerous, undocumented life.
January time, she has a coronavirus. Very hard. Very hard. But she can't go to hospital. Nobody care. I think that time she understood. She tried to decide,
That she had to leave China.
Yeah, after she, getting better, sister, I have to come. I have to come. If I stay here, I will die like this.
So they made plans for her to travel to Vietnam, but just 2 hours in, and she was arrested by Chinese police. Within 6 months, the nightmare outcome for her family. She was deported back to North Korea.
Will be a lot of punishment, no food in the jail, hard work.
How unjust does that feel?
Really, I don't know. 25 years she lives. How could doing to this? Yeah, maybe they have a relationship with North Korea, but shouldn't do that. It's not human. We are not animal. If she go back to North Korea, like flies, they kill flies, easily kill them.
She was deported on October the 9th across this bridge on the eastern end of the border. On the same day, hundreds were sent back across these 5 border points. Numbers unmatched in at least a decade, up to 500 people in one day. At one of those border points in the city of Dandong, the Chinese can peer out at their secretive neighbour and celebrate their affinity too. But the border is largely still closed in the wake of the pandemic. We saw just a handful of trucks. Numbers aren't what they were, but locals say they are notable. Sometimes there are more, sometimes less, says this woman who works under the bridge. Some days there are no trucks at all. This is pretty much the closest you can get to North Korea from really anywhere in the world, but it remains such a secretive place. There is more traffic between these two countries now, but it is still extremely difficult to verify what happens to people once they're returned there. And that is the key issue. From outside the city, we caught a rare glimpse of the simple lives on the other side. Reports are of poverty, starvation, and brutal punishment for defectors. But China insists there is no evidence of this, and thus the return's not illegal.
How does China justify these deportations, knowing that people very likely face imprisonment, torture, or even death?
There are no so-called North Korean defectors in China. People who illegally entered into China for economic reasons are not refugees. They violate Chinese laws.
But international pressure is heightening, including recent questions at a UN human rights review, secondary, say experts, to China's bigger geopolitical concerns.
The last thing that they want is to destabilize the North Korean state. The feared scenario from Beijing is that this kind of exodus or floodgate of North Korean escapees would result in the collapse of North Korea as it happened with East Germany back in 1989.
Back in London at North Korea's embassy, Kim Kyu-li says she will not stop fighting. But it's hard to know whether anyone's listening. Her sister has, in a sense, just vanished, a pawn in a much bigger picture. Helen-Ann Smith, Sky News, in Dandong on the China-North Korea border.